There's fallout over the NRL's decision to host the grand final in Sydney in 2022. Live to Gabriella Power now at Rugby League HQ. Gabriella's senior New South Wales ministers are putting pressure on the Premier to pull funding for other rugby league projects.
They are, Kenny. This is the result that Sydney siders were hoping for. The NRL Grand Final is staying in Sydney for 2022, but there are no guarantees beyond that. The New South Wales government was close to locking in a deal with the NRL, which would see the Grand Final here in Sydney for 20 years. But the NRL has decided that that's not going to happen. They could adopt a Super Bowl type approach, which would see the Grand Final hosted in other cities around the country. Now, senior New South Wales ministers are not happy about this, and they're putting pressure on the Premier to pull funding for rugby league projects, which puts at risk $300 million for the Penrith Panthers Stadium and also funding for a super centre. But ARC Chairman Peter V'landys has spoken out this morning, and he says that the Premier, Dominic Perrottet's claims that funding couldn't go towards upgrading suburban stadiums because it had to get put towards flood victims, well, that's just a political stunt.
Pitting us against the flood victims was really a political stunt, because the New South Wales government spends $123 billion a year on infrastructure. To say that $290 million of that, which would be less than 1%, and it's spread over 4 years, about $50 to $60 million a year, it's negligible. They can do both.
I'm out the front of Rugby League headquarters. I've been speaking to people here this morning to get their reaction that the grand final is going to be staying in Sydney, at least for 2022, and also the way the New South Wales government has handled this. You happy to hear that the Rugby League grand final is staying in Sydney?
I am.
Yes?
Amazing.
What do you make of the way the New South Wales government handled it all?
I don't think they handled it very well, unfortunately.
This is the home of rugby league and it should probably stay here.
Don't watch rugby league, I'm sorry.
You don't watch rugby league?
No, I'm
so
sorry.
You don't care?
I don't care.
So as you can see there, not everyone is a rugby league fan, but no doubt there are some excited people around. The Rugby League Grand Final will be held on October 2 at Accor Stadium, Kenny.
Excellent. Thank you, Gabriella.